Sorry, Jessica. Strict capacity limit. We did not get your RSVP in time. My mother's voice was a whisper, but it cut through the freezing Wisconsin air like a blade. I stood on the porch of the massive lakeside lodge, holding my 6-year-old son Benjamin's hand. His little grip tightened in mine, as if he sensed something was wrong. Inside, I could hear laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the warmth of a fire that crackled happily. But outside, standing in front of the heavy timber door, the wind off Lake Geneva bit into our faces and soaked through our coats. "Mom," I said, my voice steady despite the shock and disbelief settling into my chest. "It is Christmas Eve. Grandma invited us." "Capacity limit," she repeated, her eyes cold and empty, devoid of any recognition that I was her daughter or that Benjamin was her grandson. "Go home, Jessica. There is no room for you here." And then she shut the door. The sound of the latch clicking into place echoed in the sudden silence like a final verdict. Before I tell you what my grandmother did when she found out about this lie, and trust me, you are going to want to hear it, drop a comment and let me know where you are listening from tonight. I always love seeing how far our community reaches and knowing these stories resonate with people everywhere. I did not cry. I did not beg. I did not even knock again. I simply turned around, picked Benjamin up, and walked back to my car. The walk was silent except for the crunch of snow under my boots and the distant sound of carolers singing from a neighbor's house. Benjamin was sobbing quietly against my shoulder. "Grandma hates me," he whispered, his voice muffled by my coat. "I made her a card." "No, baby," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "She does not hate you. She loves you. But how do you explain to a 6-year-old that the cruelty of adults has nothing to do with him? How do you explain that he is collateral damage in a war he never started?" I buckled him into his car seat, handed him his tablet to distract him, and then got into the driver's seat. I sat there for a long moment, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My phone was in my purse, silent. I knew if I checked it, there would be no messages from my mother apologizing, no texts from my father asking where we were, no calls from my brother Tyler wondering why his sister was not at the party. Because this was not an accident. This was the pattern. For years I dragged around an invisible chain. It was heavy, made of hope, guilt, and the desperate need for validation. I had convinced myself that if I just tried harder, if I was more successful, more compliant, more perfect, they would finally see me. I paid for my own college while they funded Tyler's 3 failed startups. I bought my own car while they leased Tyler a luxury SUV. I built a successful event planning business from scratch while Tyler managed my father's investments poorly. And every Christmas, I showed up with expensive gifts and a forced smile, hoping this would be the year I was not the punchline, the afterthought, or the problem. But that night, standing on that porch, freezing while my mother lied to my face, something snapped. The chain did not just break. It shattered. I started the car. The heater hummed to life, blowing cold air that matched the chill inside my chest. "We are going home, Ben," I said. "We are going to have our own Christmas." I put the car in drive and pulled away from the lodge, leaving the warmth and laughter behind. I was done. I was finally truly done. I was about 10 minutes down the winding pine line driveway when my phone rang. The sound was loud in the quiet car and made me jump. I glanced at the screen. Grandma Mary. My stomach dropped. Part of me wanted to ignore it and keep driving. But another part of me, the part that still loved the woman who taught me how to bake and read me stories, could not. I pulled over and answered. "Hello. Jessica." Grandma Mary's voice was sharp and confused. "Where are you? Dinner is about to be served." "We left, Grandma," I said. "Mom told us there was a strict capacity limit. She said we were not on the list." There was a silence so deep I thought the call had dropped. Then Grandma spoke again, her voice low and dangerous. "Turn the car around. Right now." My husband John was sitting next to me, his hand resting on my shoulder. "Do it," he said quietly. I turned the car around. When we arrived, Grandma Mary was waiting on the porch under the lantern light. She did not look angry. She looked formidable. She hugged me, knelt to Benjamin, and brought us inside. The music stopped. Conversations died. My parents and Tyler stood frozen by the fireplace. Grandma confronted my mother, played the security footage, and exposed the lie in front of everyone. Then she revealed the real reason. The silver service had been pawned. $50,000 worth of family heirlooms sold for $4,000 to cover gambling debts. My mother had tried to keep me away because I would have noticed. I always polished the silver on Christmas Eve. Grandma saw everything clearly. She expelled my parents from the property, disowned Tyler, and rewrote her will. Everything went to me. 1 year later, the lodge was warm and full of laughter. Benjamin opened gifts on the rug. My parents were gone. Tyler faced fraud charges. Grandma Mary slept peacefully by the fire. I no longer felt like I was auditioning for my place at the table. I finally belonged. If you are listening right now and feel the ache of a door shut in your face, hear this. You are not the problem. You are simply in the wrong house. Walk away. Build your own fire. When you cut ties with toxic people, you do not lose family. You lose pain. And what you gain is everything.